Begin this practice lying on your back, with your knees bent and your feet placed on the floor. Take a moment as you breathe in, think about tensing up through your muscles in your shoulders, in your glutes, and in your thighs. And as you exhale, soften into those muscles. Allow your lower back to relax down onto the mat. Allow your shoulders to soften, releasing any tension through the back of your neck. Just coming into a steady, easy breath. Inhaling in through the nose and out through the nose. On your next breath in, fill up through your belly. And as you exhale, soften navel all the way towards your spine, beginning to just gently connect with those deep core muscles. And on your next breath in, finding a little activation through the outer hips. And exhale, take both of your knees over to the right, feeling that stretch and lengthening across the top of your left hip. And inhale back through center. Exhale, both knees over to the left, pausing and feeling that lengthening across the front of the right hip. Inhale through center. Moving with your breath here, exhaling, knees to the right. Inhale, bring them back through center. Exhale, knees to the left. Inhale through center. And then let's place the feet back on the floor. Begin to walk your heels a little closer to your hips. Stacking your heels in line with your hips and placing your hands firmly on the mat alongside your body. Pressing down through your palms, we're going to begin to roll up through the spine. So think about lifting your tailbone first, opening through the front of your hips by squeezing your glutes, lifting a little more through your lower back, rolling up vertebrae by vertebrae, reaching your heart up towards the sky. At the very top of your bridge pose, engage your glutes and open the front of your hip flexors just a little bit more. And then slowly, one vertebrae at a time, lowering back down onto the floor, allowing your tailbone to be the last thing that touches down. Repeating that, inhale, begin to lift the tailbone, rolling up one vertebrae at a time into your bridge pose. Holding at the top, opening through the front of the body. Exhale, rolling back down. Tailbone touches down last. One more time, inhale, lift the tailbone. Open through the front of your hips as you roll up through your spine. Reaching your heart toward your chin, but maintaining a little space between your chin and your chest. Keeping the back of the neck long. Holding one more breath in. Engaging through your lower body a little bit more as you press through your feet. And then slowly lowering all the way back down. Find one of your blocks. Place it between your hands and hold it directly above your shoulders. Really draw your shoulder blades down into the floor, actively pushing the hands into the block. And then from here, begin to press into your feet. And once again, lift the hips up toward your bridge pose. As you lift your hips, bring your arms behind your head and press that block into the floor. This will be a little tight in the shoulders. Continue to press the hands into the block and see just how much pressure you can press into the floor. Slowly lift the block back over your shoulders and lower your hips back down onto the mat. Inhale again, lifting the hips, lifting the arms overhead, pressing that block into the floor. Pausing here to once again open the front of the hips. Press the hands into the block And then lower the hips. Bring the block back above your chest. Inhale. Exhale to reset. And then inhale once again. Lift the hips. Place the block behind your head. And this time, continue to press the block into the floor as you roll down through your spine, lowering your hips back onto the mat and finding a hollow body position here. So activating your deep core muscles by drawing your navel in toward your spine, knitting your ribs together, and continuing to actively press the hands into the block and press the block into the floor. Soften through your lower back. Take one more breath in. And then as you exhale, we'll begin to lift the hips back up, moving back into that bridge pose, and bring that block back above your chest. Taking a breath here. Exhale, lowering the block back behind the head. Breathe in. And once again, lowering back onto the floor, keeping that block behind your head. Opening through the shoulders. Breathe in. Take an exhale. And then let's lift the block back above your shoulders. Moving back into that bridge pose. And then we'll begin to draw the elbows down towards the floor. Lowering your hips. You can move that block off to the side and begin to reach your arms overhead. Stretch out long. Place your palms together. Draw your core back in, navel in towards the spine. And on your exhale, begin to lift your head and your shoulders away from the mat, keeping your feet planted on the floor if possible. Hold for a moment. Breathe in. And then exhale, lower the head and shoulders back to the floor. Inhale, pressing through your palms, lift your head and shoulders away from the floor. Hold here. You can take your hands apart, but continue to stack your biceps alongside your ears. And then exhale, lower the head and shoulders back to the floor. And then from here, begin to reach all the way up, using your core muscles to roll up away from the floor, one vertebrae at a time, coming all the way up into seated. Breathe in here. And then back the way we came, one vertebrae at a time. Roll it all the way down with control. Back onto your back. Inhale, arms reach overhead. Exhale again, lift the head and shoulders away from the floor and continue that movement all the way through your spine, all the way up into the seated position, reach tall. And one more time to roll all the way down, one vertebrae at a time. Use your control, move slowly until your head touches the floor. Take one breath here. Last time to lift, lifting your head, shoulders, rolling up through your spine and reaching up for the sky. Breathe here. Sweep your hands down toward the floor. Take them behind your hips. Inhale to lengthen through the crown of the head, and we'll begin to lift the right leg and place the right foot on the floor. Inhale. Left arm lifts up toward the sky. Exhale, twisting right and just taking your arm around your right thigh. Right hand can stay behind the right hip. Inhale, lengthen through the spine. Exhale, twist, using your left arm to hug that leg in closer to your chest to find this twist. One more breath here. On your exhale, we'll start with that left hand, releasing the right leg. Just reach your left arm out long. Keeping the twist. Seeing if you can maintain the twist, we're going to lift the right arm away from the floor as well. Coming into an open arm twist. Heart facing to the right. Using your obliques to find a more active version of this twist. Breathe in. And then exhale, take your right hand back to the floor, allow your left arm to wrap around your right thigh once again, coming back into the passive version of this twist and maybe moving a little bit deeper. Another breath. Exhale to release back to the center. Both arms up, straighten out your right leg. Lift through your left leg and begin to place the left foot on the floor. Breathe in here. As you exhale, twist over to the left. Your right hand wraps around your left thigh. Your left hand can settle into the mat behind your left hip. Using your arm to help hug your knee in closer to your chest, deepening the twist. One more breath in. Exhale, starting with your left hand, reaching left hand all the way to the back of the mat. And then inhale, reaching the right arm for the front of the mat. Keeping your twist, but finding it through an active version, using your obliques to help rotate through your spine. Staying tall. One more breath. And then exhale. Once again, wrap your right arm around your left leg. Place your left arm behind your hips. And maybe use your arms to move even deeper into this twist. Slowly release, come back through center, arms up overhead. Straighten out your left leg. Let's pick up both legs. Walk them in towards your body as you move into a tabletop position. Stacking wrists beneath shoulders, knees beneath hips, neutral spine. Begin to inhale as you drop your belly towards the floor, opening through the front of your chest and lifting your tailbone towards the sky. Exhale as you tuck your tailbone under, press through your hands, finding a nice spinal extension, rounding through the back. And then inhale, drop your belly, gaze up, cow pose. Exhale, cat, round your back, pressing in through your palms, pressing your hips forward. Inhale, come back to neutral. Let's begin to stretch through the wrists. So we'll start by keeping the palms down, just beginning to move your hands out toward the sides and then towards the back of the mat, exploring the different rotations of your wrists. So just walking your hands in circles as far back as they'll go, as far in as they will go. Just practicing adding different load to your wrist joint. Make a couple of times around, just exploring all the different ways. And then if you find any one place that feels like it needs a little more attention, feel free to pause there. Take a couple of breaths. And then we'll meet back at the center. Turn your fingertips out, palms down towards the floor. And just shift right and left, side to side. Gently adding a little bit more weight to each of your wrists. And then transitioning, moving the palms up, keeping the fingertips facing in toward one another. Stay here a moment. Notice how this feels in your wrist. It's usually a little more intense with the palms facing up. So if you'd like to sink your hips back towards your heels to relieve some pressure, then do so. And then begin to walk your hands in the same circles. Walking your wrist all the way as far out as they'll go, as far forward as they'll go. Just exploring these movements. And the same as the other way. If you find one spot that feels nice, that needs a little more attention, stay there and breathe. Bring your hands back to center. Let's begin to shift the weight all the way back onto the heels, keeping your hands planted into the floor. And just activating little muscles at a time here. So we're going to plant all of the fingers into the floor and lift just your first finger away from the mat. Once you have that finger lifted, we're going to shift our weight forward again, shifting as far forward as you can until it gets difficult to keep that finger lifted. Once you're here, We're going to make baby taps with just that finger down toward the floor. So make about 15 or 20 taps, attempting to keep your arms straight, to keep your core engaged. And as soon as you're done with your taps, sink your weight back onto your heels. Moving to the next finger, let's lift the middle finger away from the floor. Shift forward until it is hard to keep that finger lifted and make your little baby taps, 15 or 20. Should be starting to feel this in the forearms, in those muscles that support our wrists. And then sink the weight back to the heels when you're done. Lifting the ring finger. Once again, shift your weight forward. 20 baby taps. Shift your weight back to your heels. Last one. Pinky finger lifts. Shift your weight forward again. Do your taps. Sink your weight back onto your heels. Take a moment to shake out your wrists. Roll them out. And then we'll bring both arms forward. Reach your fingertips straight for the front of your mat. Allow your shoulders to soften. Beginning to really access the muscles in the forearms here. Keep your arms straight, and we're going to begin to take the fingertips in toward one another, stretching through the outside of the wrist. Actively pull those fingertips in. Breathe here. And then exhale, point the fingertips as far out as they will go. Just rotating at your wrist, moving your hands out to the sides. Inhale, bring the fingers back toward one another. And then begin to curl out your fingers. Pinky finger first, then your ring finger, then your middle finger, then your pointer finger. Curl your thumb over the top of your fist and begin to squeeze your knuckles down toward the floor, really stretching through the top of the wrist. Notice your hands are still facing slightly inward, activating through the underside of the forearm here as you draw your knuckles down toward the mat. One more breath, and then reaching your thumbs first, reaching your thumbs forward, releasing your pointer finger, your middle finger, your ring finger, and your pinky finger, and then flare your fingers as wide as you can, pressing actively through the hands. Imagine that you're pushing into the floor like you're in plank pose, trying to keep your fingers straight. And then we'll do one more. Take the fingers forward, reaching for the front of the mat. Inhale here. Exhale, draw your fingers in toward one another. And then exhale, draw them out towards the sides of the mat. Inhale, back toward one another. Begin to curl in at your pinky finger, your ring finger, your middle finger, your pointer finger. Wrap your thumb over the top of your fist and then squeeze your knuckles down toward the floor. Once again, hands are still turned slightly inward. Hold here, really feeling that light up the underside of your forearms. Continue to breathe evenly. One more breath in. And then starting that movement with your thumbs, just reaching your thumbs forward. And then releasing your pointer finger, your middle finger, your ring finger, and your pinky finger. Flare your fingers wide, press out through the palm of your hands, holding this active wrist extension. Continuing to breathe. And then shake out your wrists. Let's clasp the hands behind the lower back. Begin to open across the front of your chest as you draw your knuckles down toward the floor, finding a nice heart opener stretch here. Big inhale. And then exhale. Let's release that. Grab both of your blocks. And balancing the blocks on the palms of your hands. Taking a moment here. We don't want to grip the blocks. We want to allow this balance here, just like you're holding a serving platter. Starting on the right side, begin to draw your right hand in towards your chest and bring it all the way through, extending at the elbow, pausing a moment, and then beginning to sweep the arm all the way overhead and bring it back through center. Moving to the left side, bring that left hand in towards your chest. Continue to take it all the way through, reaching for the back of the mat, and then spin it all the way over your head and draw it back through center. Making sure that we're rotating at our shoulder joint instead of at our wrists. Moving to the right, right block moves in towards the chest, extending the elbow, sweeping overhead, draw it back through center. Moving to the left, draw that left block in towards your chest, extending at the elbow and sweep the arm all the way overhead. Bring it back to center. We'll do one more on each side. Bring the right block in towards your chest, extend at the elbow, sweep it overhead. Come back through center. Last one on the left. Bring the block to your chest, extend at your elbow, sweep it overhead, and come back to center. You can take the blocks off the side of the mat. Shaking out your shoulders, rolling them back, forward. Then inhale both arms overhead. Big reach here. And then exhale, begin to draw your hands behind your head. Elbows out to the sides, knitting your ribs together, navel pulled in. Breathe here. And then exhale, extend at your elbows, reaching your hands out towards the sides of the room. Begin to rotate just at your shoulders. So imagine your thumbs are pointing up toward the sky. We're going to point the thumbs down toward the floor and then rotating them all the way to the back as far as you can. Inhale, bring your thumbs back up, opening your palms. Rotating at your shoulders again, exhale to wrap them all the way down. Moving with your breath, inhaling to open up, exhaling to wrap them down. The next time you open up, let's bring the hands back behind your head. Breathe in. Try to pull your elbows back towards the back of the room. And then extend at your elbows. Same movement we did before. Begin to drop the palms down toward the floor, reaching all the way toward the back of the room. This time, sweep your arms back. And we're going to hover the hands away from the lower back. Bending at the elbows. Stay here a moment. Open through the front of your chest. Pull your hands away from your lower back. Inhale. And then exhale, extend at the elbows, straighten the arms. Rotate at your shoulder joint as you bring your palms forward and all the way back up, placing your hands back behind your head. Inhale here, pull your elbows back. Exhale, straighten your arms. Rotate at your shoulders. Begin to take your palms down toward the floor and all the way towards the back of the room. Sweep your arms back behind you. Bend your elbows. Rest your hands just away from your lower back. Open through your chest. And then exhale, straighten the arms. Roll your palms forward all the way back up. Hands behind your head. Extend at your elbows and hold. Straighten your arms. Now go ahead and make a fist with both of your hands and drop your left shoulder down toward the floor as you gaze over toward your right fist. Inhale, come back through center. Exhale, begin to drop your right shoulder down toward the floor as you gaze over to the left. Inhale through center. Exhale, drop the left shoulder, gaze to the right. Inhale, center. Exhale, drop through the right shoulder, gaze to the left. Inhale through center. And then press through your palms. One more time with this active wrist extension. Imagine that you are holding open an elevator door, straightening your fingers, pressing through the heel of your hand, and then let it go. Roll your shoulders, shake it out. Walk your hands forward on your mat, coming into a kneeling plank, and slowly lower all the way to the floor. From here, roll your shoulders back a couple of times, find some movement and mobility through the upper body. And then pausing in a cobra pose, get really light in your fingers. Allow the muscles of your upper back to do the work here. And then exhale, plant your fingertips down and lower your head toward the floor. Just moving with the breath. Inhale, rolling up through the spine, lifting into cobra. Exhale, roll the head back down. Inhale, rolling it up. Exhale, lower. Begin to take your hands out to the sides, planting your fingertips down, goalpost arms. Open through the front of your shoulders. And then inhale, lifting back up into that cobra pose. And exhale, rolling down. Inhale, lift. Maybe you're able to lift a little bit higher. Exhale, come down. One more, lifting up. Exhale, lower. Bring the hands out in front of you. And that same wrist extension, we're going to press the fronts of the wrist down into the mat and lift the fingertips up. So our hands are straight. Imagine that you're pushing your hands forward into a wall. Lower your head down to the floor. And then lower your fingertips down into the floor. Push your fingertips down into the mat on an exhale. And on an inhale, lift your hands back up, spreading your fingers wide. Exhale, push the hands down into the mat. Inhale, lift them back up into that wrist extension. Exhale, press the fingers down into the mat. Inhale to lift. And this time, with your forehead planted into the mat, adding in a shoulder lift as well, keeping your hands in that wrist extension. Lift your arms up by your ears, trying to lift your arms higher than your head. Keep your fingers spread wide, and then lower the arms down. Relax through your hands. On your next inhale, lift your hands away from the floor, wrist extension. Exhale, lift your shoulders up by your ears. And release down. One more time, inhale, wrist extension. Exhale, lift your arms, shoulders by the ears. Take it down. And then take a moment to relax. Windshield wiper your legs. Take a breath. Let's walk the hands back out in line with the shoulders. This time, just keep the arms straight. Keep your head planted down into the floor. Inhale, lift the biceps up by the ears again. Lift as high as you can. And the same thing we did in seated before, we're going to take our hands behind our head. Lift your elbows as high up as you can. And then begin to straighten at the elbows. Rotate at your shoulders, flipping your palms all the way up toward the sky. Bend at your elbows and hover your hands just at your lower back. This is really opening through the front of your shoulders here. Breathe in. And then exhale, straighten your elbows. Sweep your palms all the way up, back behind your head, bending the elbows. Breathe here, lift your elbows high. Exhale, straighten your elbows, sweep your palms down toward the floor and all the way around up towards the sky. Place your hands at your lower back, hovering them, holding, opening through your chest. Exhale, extend at the elbows, sweep your hands all the way back up, behind your head, and this time lift your head, plant your hands beneath your shoulders. Cobra pose. And then pull the hands away from the floor. From here, lifting through the elbows. Keep your wrists bent as you try to sweep your hands all the way towards the back of the mat. Keeping your wrists bent, holding here. And then without touching the floor, keep your elbows straight back. Sweep your hands back beneath your shoulders. And then exhale, lower your forehead down. Take a breath here. Heavy exhale. Inhale again to lift into cobra pose. Begin to pull your elbows straight up toward the sky. Keep your wrist bent. Begin to sweep your palms all the way towards the back of the mat, keeping that bend in the wrists. And then exhale, sweep your hands back beneath your shoulders, lower your forehead to the floor. Last one. Inhale, lift, cobra pose. Exhale, pull your elbows up, lifting your hands away from the floor. Sweep your hands back. Hold for one breath. Exhale, bring your hands back beneath your shoulders and lower down. Roll out your shoulders. Take your arms out to a T position, straight on the mat. And let's pick up the left leg and step it over to the right side. So we're going to roll onto that right shoulder, opening through the left side of the body, finding a twist. You could keep your left hand reaching over to the left or wrap it behind your lower back. Breathe here, enjoying that stretch through the right shoulder. One more inhale. On your exhale, start to roll back down onto the mat. Release your left arm out to the left side. And then pick up your right leg. Begin to take your right leg, step it over to the left, rolling onto your left shoulder, coming into that twist. You could keep your right hand reaching over toward the right or wrap it behind your lower back. Enjoy that stretch across the top of the left shoulder. Breathe. Last exhale here. On your inhale, lift your right arm back up, roll back onto your belly. Straightening out the legs, bring your hands back underneath your shoulders. Press your way up into child's pose. Relax your head down to the floor, softening through the back of your neck. And then walk your hands over to the right, stretching through the left side of your body. Inhale, come back through center. And exhale, walk your hands over to the left, maybe reaching a little further with your right hand, stretching through the right side of your body. Let's come back through center, back into your child's pose. Take a big inhale, breathing into the space between your shoulder blades, into the back of your rib cage. And exhale, soften your heart toward the floor. Staying in child's pose, keeping your forehead on the mat, we're going to place the pinky side of the hand on the floor. So palms face in toward one another. Slowly begin to activate through your shoulders. Keep your forehead down and inhale, lift the arms off of the mat. Keeping your forehead down, activating through your upper back and through your shoulders, and slowly lower down. Inhale, soften through your shoulders. Exhale, lift the arms. Slowly lower down. One more. Take a big breath in. Exhale, lift. Arms up by the ears. And release. Palms can come back down to the floor, walking up into a tabletop position. So reset the spine with a little cat-cow. Inhale, drop your belly, gaze up. Exhale, cat, round your back. Inhale, drop the belly, gaze up, broaden across your chest. Exhale, round your back, press your hips forward. Come back to neutral spine. Begin to walk your hands back towards your knees, sitting back onto your heels. Inhale, sweep the arms up overhead. Grab your elbows. From here, inhale, lengthen up through your spine. Exhale, lean over to the right, opening through the left side of your body. Exhale, come back through center. Inhale, lengthen. And exhale, lean over to the left, rolling the right side of your heart open. Come back through center. Release the arms down to the floor. Walk your hands forward. Find kneeling plank, stacking your wrist over your shoulders. Soften your tailbone toward the floor. So find a tilt in your pelvis that really allows you to squeeze your glutes, engaging through your core center. Reach your heart forward. And then begin to lower, keeping your elbows reaching straight back, almost all the way down to the floor, finding a half chaturanga, the knees down. Pause here for a moment. Keep your hips tucked under, glutes engaged. And as you begin to lift back up, think about lifting through your navel first. So lifting through your core center, pressing through your hands back up into your kneeling plank. Breathe in. Exhale, press back to child's pose. Inhale, shoot forward into your kneeling plank. Exhale, bend your elbows straight back, lower almost all the way down onto the mat. Hover for just a moment. Begin to press through your hands, lift through your core center, all the way back up and into your child's pose. Inhale, last one, shift forward, kneeling plank. Exhale, lower, hover briefly. Press through your hands, lift back up to kneeling plank. Sink hips back to your heels. And this time, come forward and lower all the way down onto the mat. Just relax, roll your shoulders. Grab one block. We're going to place the elbows on the floor in line with the shoulders. Place this block between your hands. And we're going to place the block right behind your neck, placing it almost directly between your shoulder blades. Think about squeezing your elbows in towards the sides of your head. Tuck your tailbone towards your heels. Engage through your glutes and through your lower body. Take a big breath in. Lift your navel up towards your spine. And on your exhale, lift your elbows, lift your upper body away from the floor. Continue squeezing that block. And then exhale, lower down. Take a breath in. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower down. Exhale, lift. Inhale to lower. Exhale, lift it up. Inhale, lower down. One more, lift it up, exhale, and then stay lifted. Start to straighten your arms. Continue pressing the hands into the block as you reach forward. And then on your next exhale, bring that block back behind your shoulder blades and lower down. Inhale, lift. Exhale, reach the block forward. Inhale, bring the block back between your shoulder blades and lower down. Inhale, lift up, reach forward, stay here. This time, lift your feet, finding locust pose with this block. Glutes engaged, legs are active, reaching as high as you can. One more inhale. Exhale, lower. Release. Take the block off to the side. Press your way back into child's pose. Move side to side in your hips. Soften through your shoulders. And then begin to come up into a seated position on your heels. Let's reach the right arm forward, fingertips reaching for the front of the mat. And then begin to reach that right arm over to the left side. Imagine that both of your shoulder blades are pressing into a wall. So we're staying open through the front of the body, but just reaching that right arm as far as you can, getting an active stretch across the front of that shoulder. One more breath here. And then go ahead and take your left arm, move it to the outside of the right, and pull the arm in a little closer to your body. Keeping that left arm underneath the right, begin to wrap up your arms, finding an eagle pose arms here. You can bring your palms to touch or hook your thumbs. And then inhale, lift your elbows, trying to lift your elbows higher than your shoulders, broadening across your upper back. And then exhale, bring your elbows back in line with your shoulders, twist to the right, keeping your eagle arms. Breathe here, lengthen up, draw your navel into your core to help that twist. And then inhale, move back through center. And exhale, twist to the left. Breathe in, lengthen. Exhale, twist. Inhale through center, release your arms. Drop your right arm down toward your lap, reaching forward with the left hand. Reaching as far forward as you can, and then begin to reach the left fingertips over to the right side of your body. Keeping both shoulders pulled back and just reaching as far as you can through the fingertips. One more breath here. And then take your right arm underneath, draw your left arm in toward your chest a little bit more. Keep the right arm underneath. Begin to wrap it up again for eagle arms. Inhale to lift your elbows as high as you can, bringing the base of your shoulder blades together as you broaden through your upper back. And then exhale, twist left. Breathe in. Exhale, twist. Inhale, come back through center. And exhale, twist right. Breathe in. Breathe out. Inhale, come back through center, release your arms. Clasp your hands behind your lower back. And let's take the forehead down to the mat, coming into a child's pose with the option for a heart opener stretch. You could keep your hands at your lower back, or feel free to lift them up over, finding a little bit more of a chest opener here. Slowly release your hands, place them onto the floor, settling into your child's pose. Breathing in, soften the shoulders. Breathing out to melt the heart towards the floor.